Welcome back everyone to my Let's Play of Final Fantasy V, the 4-job Fiesta for T&V Small Critter Rescue. Last episode we defeated the Gargoyle Guardians outside the pyramid here, but we didn't actually go into the pyramid. Now, this episode we're going to actually head into the pyramid, but we're not going to do a lot of exploring in the pyramid. Unlike previous Final Fantasy V Fiestas, where I went through this entire pyramid and got all the treasure, this time I'm not going to grab the treasure. After we complete this pyramid, we'll be able to get Lenna back. Spoilers. And I'm gonna save going through this pyramid. Save going through it until I get her back. That way, you know, like she's not under-leveled and is kind of on par with everybody else, like in terms of jobs. So, yeah, I'm just gonna basically run through this place, ignore most of the treasure. Most of the encounters as well. A few of them I'll pick up, because there's a lot of encounters here that you're kind of forced into. So I'll fight them, so when I go through the pyramid again, I want to show off those encounters, but like random encounters, probably won't be showing them off. But so, these miniature traps here. Basically, you just have to press the buttons to open the doors, but unfortunately pressing the buttons causes those snakes to pop out and appear. So a lot of those treasures there have enemies inside them, so it'd be good to have another party mode. There's a little trap there. If you take too long going up those steps, they turn into a slide, and the flooring on the bottom turns into spikes, so you slide down into the spikes. So we have room for these machine enemies. Luckily, these machine heads are weak to lightning, so we can just cast the magic sword, bolt 3, and then defeat it with one hit. So that's pretty nice. The Will-O-Wisp also confuses it, so just wait it out. So yeah, unlike those prototype enemies that we encountered in the first world, before the worlds merged, the recruitment will do any damage to. Yeah, these guys, we can take them out pretty easily. There's quite a few of them running around, so it's a good place to, I guess, gain AP. There's also a bunch of those snakes that can pop up, and another encounter you get is when you open the sarcophagus here, you get into encounters with mummies. So there's a sarcophagus on the lower level. It has a grand mummy in it, but we skip that because, like I said, we're going to be coming back to loot the pyramid later on once we get Lenna back. Once again, we can use the fire. We can use magic sword to defeat these enemies in one hit with the fire 3. A lot of these enemies here, we could have picked up the spell from X-Death, a blue magic spell, level 3 flare. A lot of the enemies in this world, both in dungeons and on the overworld, are levels of multiples of 3. So you see these mummies level 27. Those are slugs. All the enemies that we fought, the slugs, the gloom spiders, there's that moon witch. They were all level multiples of 3 as well. So level 3 flare is really, really good. If you have a blue mage, you picked it up from X-Death. So you can also use cure spells on these guys if you want to. So Cara can actually attack them with the staff that she has, the healing staff. Yeah, we're still getting use out of that. We got that way back in the first world after we completed the water crystal. After we got the water crystal, and the people told us, hey, you got the hero, why don't you go back to Tycoon Castle? So yeah, this staff, definitely putting in the work. So, but not much longer, because once you complete this dungeon, we'll end up getting the first of the stone tablets, and each of the stone tablets can unlock 3 of the sealed weapons, the legendary weapons, and we're going to grab the bell, the assassin knife, and the sage staff, which boosts the power of white magic. Bell. Never use that in any other playthroughs because Geomancer is the only class that can use it. Well, freelancers can use it in 2, but with the 4-job Fiesta restrictions, we couldn't use the bell. So I never really used that, but we'll actually get to use it now. It increases damage pretty much from with all elements, so it'll make the terrain effects, anyone who's using it, make them their spells a little bit stronger. That tier could be an upgrade, but we want to keep that gold pin because it cuts the MP use in half. See, like this person said a long time ago, I think that in one of the towns, it wasn't the beginner house, but hitting the Ottoman always makes it makes your characters equip the stuff that gives the most defensive power. Doesn't take into account like special effects. Oh, it was in Surrogate Castle. One of the people said that. So yeah, just ignoring all this treasure here. This is a weird floor. This floor shifts, but you see there's a few places that that's always going to have a floor. And you just want to stand on those places, that way you won't fall in. If you fall into the pit, you just end up in the floor below. And you can actually want to fall down the pit to get some treasure. We see where it's lighter gray tiles, that's those slide tiles. If you step on them, you slide down. You can't go up them, so you gotta kind of walk around. And here we got our first stone tablet. Pick it up. Now normally we'll encounter stone tablets. They'll be guarded by a boss, but the X-Death's going to send, after he sees that we got our first stone tablet, he's going to send his minions out. Be like, hey, guard the rest of the stone tablets. So, this one's the easy one though, it's the first one. But I guess we don't have a boss, but the dungeon itself is pretty tough. If you would have went through and got all the treasure, you would have seen there's so many encounters, but we'll get them, like I said, when we get Lenna back. Notice that peninsula that looked kind of like a bird? Turns out that it's actually the Dragon King Bahamut. He has been revived. Peninsula sinking. Yeah, that's not good. But what is good is that the airship was on that peninsula. And the airship is the same one from the first world. And it could function as a boat as well. So it's actually going to float over to where we can actually use it. So luckily, we don't have to fight Bahamut. He just basically awakens us and says, hey, if you want to fight me, come to the North Mountain. But we have no way to access the North Mountain now. Even if we do get the airship, which we will, you can't go to the North Mountain because when the worlds combine, the North Mountain is now basically surrounded by desert, and the airship can't land in the desert. There's one little small piece of forest that you can land on, but you need a black chocobo to get that. So we're gonna have to keep our eyes open, look for a black chocobo so we can finally get to the North Mountain. But now we can get that black chocobo pretty easily once we get the airship. But you wouldn't know where to get the black chocobo until later on in the game, so I'm just going to hold off on doing that. If you know there's a secret village, remember one of the scholars said that there was this town that was pulled into the Dimension Rift. We can go to that town, but we don't know where it's at. We'll eventually learn where it's at later on. So there's no reason why we can't go to it once we get the airship. But I'm going to play it as if I don't know where it's at. So just going by the clues that the game gives. There's going to be plenty of places for us to go once we get that airship, so we don't need to have extra places to go. So we're going to have a kind of a tricky boss coming up here. I made a save just to be safe, which is good because not that I lost to this boss, but capture card acted up a little bit, so. Go here with the Elder Tree, and hey, it's a Hiryu. This is actually the Hiryu from Tycoon Castle. We can actually ride the Hiryu in Surrogate Castle, or Castle Ball. Cara's where Cara and Gallifrey from, but we won't be able to get to Castle Ball until after we get the airship. So it's kind of pointless to get that, because remember the Hiryu can't fly over mountains, so we can't fly over the mountains and go to that desert to the North Mountain. We need that black chocobo. apparently, when Lenna was pulled into the Cleft of Dimension, well, X-Death, there was a bunch of monsters sealed in there. The scholars and the ancient library said that. Apparently, one of them has taken over Lenna's body. And so now X-Death is taunting us, saying like, haha, you know, one of your own is going to defeat you. But X-Death isn't going to watch, because he's busy using the power of the void to get rid of Guido. Now, X-Death doesn't have really good control of the void yet. We learn he's still trying to master it. So that gives us some time to actually, you know, do the side objectives and get a bunch of stuff. I guess that's the game's way of letting you do that. But, he pulled Guido into that Cleft of Dimension, but he also pulled some of the mountains there to the south of where the ancient library was, and that's going to open up a new section of the world for us to travel in. He does quite a few places. He's going to suck them up into the void later on, and that's going to open up some of the world map to us. Remember when we first went to Guido's cave, we couldn't go any further to the west because there was a mountain range blocking the way. Eventually that mountain's going to get pulled away, because it's going to be kind of important. There's a side quest later on to go around the entire world on a chocobo to get a piece of equipment. So here we have our first enemy from the Cleft of Dimension, Mage, and she does barrier shifts, and when she does a barrier shift, her weakness is changed. So her weakness, what she resists and what she absorbs varies. She always starts out, though, weak against fire. So I'm going to have TNV cast the Fire 3, and I'm going to have Cara do a few shells, because Mage basically just attacks you with magic. So Shell will basically increase our survivability, as it cuts magic damage down in half. Also makes some status ailments harder to hit, so. Now, I could have Faris also using the magic sword, but usually after you hit her with a weakness, she'll shift to a weakness. So if I had Faris also do magic sword and do the fire, she'd probably hit first, and then TNV would attack with fire, and the barrier shift might have changed. So I'm just going to have Faris just remain normal. She's doing a lot of damage with that chicken knife and dance, unless you got the sword dance. Drain is non-elemental, so you can always be safe with the drain. You can also use the Cara, or anybody with white magic, to use the scan spell. And the scan spell will basically say what Morenjine's weakness is. Surprisingly, she should be tempted by the tempting tango. Oh, she must have a really high magic resistance here, because we weren't able to do anything. Sometimes she'll have really high magic, in addition to changing the weaknesses. Sometimes she'll have really, really high magic defense. Sometimes she'll have really, really high physical defense. So, we got lucky when Faris hit with his 2 sword dances. She had a weak physical. So, right now, she is weak against thunder. So we just have TNV cast the Bolt 3 magic sword. And we don't want to do any more damage to her. We don't want to risk Faris hitting her. I guess a sword dance would work, but if she hit without the sword dance, maybe just like a jitterbug duet, steal hit points, she might have changed her weakness from Bolt, and we wanted to save that Bolt weakness so that TNV could finish her off. So, and with that, we finished her off, and because she was expelled from Lenna's body, Lenna is now going to rejoin our party. She lets us know about kind of what happened a little bit here. She'll also let us know that if we want to, we can go to the Cleft of Dimension once we get the airship. Because she says that the entrance to the Cleft of Dimension is basically that hole that appeared above Tycoon Castle. So let's get her back on her feet, probably have to change her job out of the Geomancer because she's a little far behind on ability points. So somebody else is going to have to go to the job. We'll get better armor for her when we loot the pyramid. But we're not actually going to go back and loot the pyramid right away. There's quite a few things we want to use that. We want to use the plate that we got to get those 3 legendary weapons. That'll help us out when we go further to raid the. Yeah, there's no real good weapon specifically for the Magic Knight, but the Assassin Dagger is pretty good. It's a pretty powerful thing that has a chance to instantly KO an enemy. Instantly cast basically Doom on them. Really good, unless you're fighting undead, so might not be really good in the pyramid against some of the undead enemies there. But one of the good things is when you use Magic Sword, it takes over the property. So if we use the like a bolt spell or a fire spell on the Assassin Dagger, it takes over the property of the instant death. So we'd still be able to, safely use it against, mummies. Where normally you did a mummy or an undead with instant death, and it would just instantly defeat them, but then they'd be revived back with 100% health. So here we have X-Death. He's still kind of struggling to control the void, but he's getting a little bit better with it. Eventually he's going to unlock a whole bunch of war monsters and send them out for us. Right now though, he's just content with trying to suck up a whole bunch of towns. This is Waltz, where the water crystal was. If you didn't get Shiva, you can get her eventually later on the Cleft of Dimension. There's History. Go all the way. Really going to get TNV mad is his own hometown is going to be Licks. It's going to be pulled up into the void. There's the Moogle village. There's the North Mountain there. As you see, it's surrounded by desert. So we won't be able to get to that. Now the Moogles are gone. And there is TNV's hometown, home village, Licks. That's going to put him into a rage. Fly the airship all around, and she got calm down. Now, the game basically doesn't want you to necessarily go to the Cleft of Dimension now, but it is an option. As soon as you get the airship, you can fly right to Tycoon Castle. But like I said, I'm 100% in the game, so I'll be showing off all the enemies and getting all the treasure, so I will be doing all those extra dungeons, so. Even though Guido says, hey, you're totally not strong enough to confront X-Death now. Like I said, you can confront X-Death, like really low levels if you have the right job abilities. I'm actually going to do that probably next year for the Fiesta. Instead of doing 4 jobs, I'll just do low level. So give something different, because like I said, this is the last year, my 5th year I'm doing this, and there's like 20 normal jobs. So I would have showed off every single one of the normal jobs that you normally get. The only jobs you wouldn't have seen would be like the freelancer that you start with, and then the mine job. So now we have the airship here. We're free to kind of go around to most places. There's still some stuff that we can't reach. We're going to have a submarine, black chocobo to get to a bunch of places. But for the most part, the overworld is fully accessible. So we're going to actually start in the next episode unlocking some sealed weapons here for the castle, and then we're going to just explore the overworld, talk to the townspeople, and find out their opinions, and maybe get some clues onto where the next elemental dungeon is. Take care, see you then. Bye!